This is a sports show that is done by two married men who once tied in a game of checkers outside Cracker Barrel.
Not just tied. We tied without taking any pieces off the board.
We got nothing. This is the most hilarious game of checkers we'll ever play in our entire lives.
Yeah, we're done. Hello, and welcome to Updog Sports Talk 2022 Division Preview.
Yeah.
My name is Matt Miller. This is Justin McGovern. What is up?
Matt, I am so excited for a new season here of Updog Sports Talk, just talking about the football season ahead. For those that are newer guests to the show here, newer listeners, just to give you an idea, this is a sports show that is done by two married men who once tied in a game of checkers outside Cracker Barrel. That's all you need to know about us. That is who we are.
Not just tied. We tied without taking any pieces off the board.
We got nothing. This is the most hilarious game of checkers we'll ever play in our entire lives.
Yeah, we're dumb. All right, moving on from our total
there.
embarrassment. First of all, congratulations, Justin, on getting married in the off season.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you got an anniversary coming up here soon too.
The day after this recording, actually. So perfect timing on getting this show recorded. So let's jump right in.
Right.
Justin, we are doing NFC South. Let's go. Who we got first?
Well, up first, once I can pull up the slide here, we have the Atlanta Falcons. As you can see here with their new cool alternate uniforms for this year. Matt,
their red helmets.
What do you think about the Falcons?
That guy on the screen is the only good thing about that team this year. I mean, I love Desmond Ridder, but I really don't think he's going to get a legit shot until the end of the season. They're not going to do well at all. They may surprise a few people, but on one or two games. But man, that team does not look good. I think they're going for CJ Stroud, which would be just poor him. All he would have is Kyle Pitts. That's all I gotta say. They might have the worst record in football this year.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say what was most surprising was that they were in playoff contention with 2 weeks left last year. That was a major surprise. I don't know if that says more about the NFC or I think a little combination of both. Arthur Smith might be a good coach. We're not going to see.
I like Arthur Smith. He's just put in a bad situation.
Honestly, I like Marcus Mariota as well. He looked good when he subbed in for Derek Carr a couple years ago. This is his first chance to be the starter since then. Problem is, they're like you said, there's no weapons on this offense. Kyle Pitts is it. They have the worst receiving core in the NFL, really. They have. Patterson kind of does a bunch of things. He's like a running back in name only, but really mostly his main threat is catching passes.
He's basically Deebo Samuel light. If they use him correctly, he can have a good season. Pitts will probably have a good season. I just think it's going to be inconsistent quarterback play, and poor defense that's going to be the downfall of them.
Yeah, the only number one receiver they had was Calvin Ridley. He got suspended for the year for gambling. So, who are they throwing to? There's Alden Tate was the number 5 receiver on the Bengals. I think that's the top option.
Brian
Edwards
did trade for someone, but I forget who they got.
That was Brian Edwards. He had one good preseason game for the Raiders.
Yeah, he's okay.
We're really grasping at straws here just to come up with receivers. The offensive line isn't that good. The defense, they still have Grady Jarrett, who's the best person in their defense for a while. They can't really stop the run. They don't have much of a pass rush. They have a decent secondary, but the secondary is kind of up against it. Let's just say it's going to be a long year for the Falcons, and they're looking forward to the future. Which, mentioning that, let's look for the future of ourselves. The future of this show is previewing the Carolina Panthers.
So, I love the black helmets. I love the direction they're taking. Their new owner seems super committed. But this is Matt Rule's last year to figure it out. This is Baker Mayfield's last year to prove himself. This is Sam Darnold's last year to prove himself. And then their defense is actually okay. They have pretty good receivers. And then even if McCaffrey gets hurt again, Chuba Howard's not a bad backup. So they have a solid core. It's just they got to do something with it this season, or else they got to blow it up from the inside again.
So prediction time now. Who do you think is going to win the starting job, Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold?
I think based off, okay, so there's two answers to that question. Right now, I think Sam Darnold, because the first day of practice, Baker went like 1 for 4 for like 13 yards and a
he
pick.
Was not good.
And then Sam Darnold was like 14 for 17 for like 135 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's like, all right. At this point, Sam Darnold understands the offense a little bit more, but I think by the end of training camp, Baker Mayfield's going to get it, and I think he's going to take over. And that's when I think they have a shot to win ball games, because Sam Darnold is talented, but he gets in his own way. This team's ceiling is number 2 in the division and possible wild card, but it depends on a lot of other factors. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Panthers. Like, I love the Panthers. I want to see them do well, but it's like there's so many question marks right now, especially with how early we're doing them in the show. I mean, we can go back and talk about them later, but like, yeah, I don't see them finishing behind the Falcons, I'll tell you that, but I think their ceiling is wild card and their floor is top 15 pick.
Yeah. Now, I would say, obviously, I think the biggest key to their season, and it's really tough to tell, definitely doing a show this early, is like Christian McCaffrey staying healthy. You said Chuba Howard's a decent running back. He's a decent running back, but I mean, when McCaffrey's on the field, he is just a threat that's just completely different than any other. He really is like the engine that makes this offense go. I mean, they were like what? I think they won like 4 of like the 5 games that he played last year. And then they won like only 2 games out of like the 11 or so that he was gone. Like, he makes that big of a difference to the offense.
Yeah, he takes a lot of the attention away, so then DJ Moore and Robbie IE can get more targets.
Yeah. Terrence Marshall's second year too. He might make a step up this year. And almost underrated thing they did, they actually addressed the offensive line this offseason. Drafted a good offensive lineman out of NC State with the number 6 pick. They added some free agent additions that weren't like big names, but nice little solid names to add in there. Help fix it, because the offensive line absolutely stunk last year. It was terrible. Honestly, that's the other thing too with Sam Darnold. This is the first time he's had an offensive line his whole career. How is that going to look? On the defensive side, can they figure out how to stop the run? That secondary is terrific.
JC Horn though on the pup list to start the year.
He just came off
say
it's today.
Did he? Okay, I was gonna say they said he wasn't going to be on it for very long. So I think he's going to take a huge step up. I mean, especially since he like was balling right before his injury. So I'm excited to watch him. But I mean, we can talk about the rest of the teams later, but it depends on how the division plays out.
But like you said, though, I do see a scenario where they can make a playoff, where they can make a run to the wild card of the playoffs. On to the next team, though, another one that could make a run to the wild card of the playoff. Oh, crab legs. So the New Orleans Saints. This is an interesting team to me, because when the offseason began, this team was a dumpster fire. They had the worst cap casualty situation in the NFL. Like, it was terrible. Somehow they worked all of that out. They've managed to actually make some good additions and fix the receiving core. So I would say one of the most interesting things, first of all, is how does crab legs look? Because Jameis is obviously the key to this team. You know, he's very famous for the 30 for 30 season. But last year, he was a very different person. He turned the ball over a lot less, but not much was put in his hands. Then again, why would you? Because their receiving core was absolutely shitty. I mean, they had nobody there last year. Now they have at
No.
least 3 guys better with Michael Thomas back if he stays healthy. If he's back to what is Michael Thomas even going to look like, Matt? Like he was like
From
120
the
receptions.
videos I saw, from what I saw, he was actually like, it was just a simple out route. He caught it. It was cool. Like, I think he's going to be okay. I do think it's going to take him, like, he's either going to go off week 1 or it's going to take
Yeah.
him 4 weeks to kind of get back into the swing of it.
I mean, like some guys that deal with some rough injuries could take even a year to get back to
My
normal.
thing about the Saints, though, is 2 things. One, they lost like a big chunk of their offensive line. 2, they lost Sean Payton. So they have a good team on paper. Like their roster is actually really good. But you factor in, you lose your 2 tackles and you lose or did they lose Ramczyk?
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
now. I think. Wait, yeah, Ramczyk is the one that retired.
No, he was the young one.
Yeah,
Armstead went to Miami.
yeah.
And then there was someone else in there that did retire. But without Sean Payton, without some big hog mollies, and with Kamara's 6-game suspension,
which, by the way, still has not been announced, but like
it's been announced.
Assumed it's going to happen.
With the whole Deshaun Watson thing, like it was announced in the middle of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they said that he had some time to appeal, but I think that he said that he wasn't going to appeal it and he was just going to take it.
Yeah.
But their upside is the same as the Panthers. Second in the division, wild card. Their low side is actually about the same as the Panthers. Like these 2 teams have so many question marks going into the season. It's going to be one of those 2 teams will be second, one will be third, both probably bottom 15. Like the third place team will probably be bottom 15. I don't really I don't see 3 teams from this division making the playoffs.
Yeah. And it's very interesting how the Saints approach the offseason too, because like with an aging defense that really they kind of just made more aging with the addition of the Honey Badger and Marcus May.
They still got a few years with each of them. So they have the experience. I'm not too concerned about the age of the secondary. I'm more concerned about consistency from the linebacking core.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Demario Davis is the main guy there, but he's turning 33, so he could fall off at any time, especially at linebacker. Mm-hmm. That's a tough spot in the sport.
You get hit a lot.
And then they're just young otherwise.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a huge question mark. Yeah, definitely.
Who's their coach now? Is Dennis Allen a coach again?
Yeah, Dennis Allen's the coach. Yeah.
They're in good hands. I mean, he's not a terrible coach. He got thrown into a bad situation and as an interim coach and when they were in Oakland, like the Raiders. But I think I really think the Saints have the best shot between the bottom 3 teams in the division to make the wild card and maybe make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, I could see them making the wild card. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go a little bit further. The best case scenario I see for the Saints is they could still win the division because for whatever reason they've had Tom Brady's number in the regular season. That changes in the playoffs because everything changes with Tom Brady in the playoffs. But they've had Tom Brady's number in the regular season. Like this team could win the division. I'm not sure if they will because it'll be a bit challenging at the beginning with Kamara's 6-game suspension. Mark Ingram will be the starting running back during that time. He's nowhere near the threat that Kamara is.
Not with the first stint on the Saints. Like he's kind of washed now. But
yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of Tom Brady, let's move on to
the
Buccaneers.
Well,
I have them still winning the division. They did just lose their center for the entire season. Jensen was pretty badly hurt, so that sucks. But JC Tretter's still out there. There's a few other options out there. Plus the guy they got from Notre Dame, not bad. He could probably fill in. A lot of question marks surrounding that offensive line, but I feel like that's the only question mark. They got Julio, and then they got who's the tight end that they just picked up? Kyle Rudolph,
Rudolph.
and they still have Cameron Brate. So offensively, as long as the offensive line is okay, nothing's going to change with them. The only thing offensively that will change. So back to the Jameis Winston 30 for 30 season. That was his first season with Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians retired. But if you look at all the quarterbacks that Bruce Arians have had, they hit career highs in passing yards while they were with him. And in the first season, the career high minus Tom Brady in interceptions. So Jameis still had over 5,000 yards that season. So I think
we're
probably not going to see a 5,000 yard season from Tom Brady this year, but it's going to be like the Patriots offense where it's going to be dip and dunk football and then throw it over the top once they start coming down. And then as long as Leonard Fournette's not another Eddie Lacy, then I think we're like they're okay there. Their defense is still strong as ever. With the offensive line, I don't think they're gonna win the Super Bowl, but they still have a good shot of making it.
Yeah, there will be some times this year where I think the interior of that offensive line is going to be a challenge. Tom doesn't like pressure up the middle. That's actually probably his least favorite spot to get pressure. And that's where he's going to see it this year. So that is the biggest question mark by far. The secondary just needs to be healthier this year because last year they struggled with health there. They kept Richard Sherman out of the booth for next year pretty much because of that. They're like they had a weird defense last year where they're just like they were so dominant against the run and so bad against the pass that I think they literally ranked like number 1 against the run, number 32 against the pass, like because everyone just like stopped trying to run on them. The Buffalo Bills didn't attempt a single run with a running back in the first half against them. Like
that was probably more so the fact that Devin Singletary is meh and Zach Moss kind of just shit the bed.
But now I do know
how's the outlook?
I do know that they looked they lost Sue this offseason, so the run defense won't be as dominant, but with some corners
Vita Vea is gonna just eat.
He's still don't get me wrong here. I mean, they're still gonna be very, very good, possibly still best in the league, but they're not gonna be like impossible to run against. Let's just pass the ball every play, like we saw a lot last year.
Yeah. So let's go to division outlook of our predictions.
Yep, time for our predictions here, and we're mostly the same.
Yeah. Literally the Saints and Panthers, you can interchange them. So like we literally did what we talked about. Like the Panthers ceiling is second in the division. Saints ceiling is second in the division. I just have optimism with the Saints over the Panthers just because they have stability at the quarterback position.
Yeah. And for me, I'm banking on a healthy Christian McCaffrey for most of the season. Just banking on him finally not having, a long miss period. Maybe he'll miss a game or two here and there. But yeah, healthy Christian McCaffrey means that this team looks a lot better. I'm high in the Saints too, but there's just definitely they have to overcome a pretty tough schedule when Kamara's out, and then their schedule gets even tougher when he comes back. Like,
but with that, I mean, receivers they have, like I like Olave. Yeah. Everyone who watches this show knows that I do not like Ohio State, but I will give props where props is due. Olave is a very talented receiver. Mike Thomas just has to be the Mike Thomas from a few years ago, not the Mike Thomas from last year.
Yeah. Or
he played well in the 4 games that he played, but yeah, he needs to be on the field, but he needs to play well too. Like you can't just be on the field. Like he has to produce in order for them to do my prediction. Otherwise, It's going to be your prediction.
And Jarvis Landry is a solid threat in the slot, but I do think their offense might struggle a little bit. I mean, and by tough schedule, I meant like their schedule includes a lot of toss-ups when Kamara's out, which means that a lot of those toss-ups could go the other way, and then the schedule gets really tough when he first comes back. Yeah. So that will be interesting to see. I think we both agree that the Falcons stink. They're just rebuilding right now.
They're the worst in football, dude. Oh, wait, I forgot. I was gonna pull this out in the middle of the show.
Hey, look at that.
New Orleans.
How about
It's
that?
set to a way smaller head though.
Yeah. It looks like for a mini head. There you go.
New Orleans, baby.
All right.
All
Very
right, Justin,
nice.
you got anything to close the show out with?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, that is the NFC South. Feel free to argue with us online and give us a follow if you liked it. Give us a follow if you didn't. At Updog Sports Talk on every social media platform. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We're on TikTok now. So give us a follow, like us, subscribe, comment. Just give us some love, people. We're trying to give you love.
Hey, looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun season.
Yeah. So that is the NFC South. See you later, guys.
See ya.